Hey everyone, we are back again with another Germangirlinlondon episode. Today it's going to be more of a bit of a rant or just like a personal experience story. So if you're not interested in that, please just click off and don't leave a comment that this video was boring. Thank you very much. So I mentioned before, I think, that once you don't have an address in Germany anymore, you cannot renew your passport in Germany. You have to do it at the embassy in, well, if you live in London, in London. My passport actually expired ages ago. I think it expired in 2012, but I didn't really need my passport because I had an ID card, which is still valid until 2018. But I thought, what if, like, if I lost it, I wouldn't have anything except my driver's license, or just if I wanted to travel outside the EU or something, if I wanted to go to America in the next 10 years, maybe I should just get a passport. I don't know, I just wanted to get a passport. I don't really know why, just wanted to get it done. So it all seemed quite simple enough to do. You have to do is you go on the website of the German embassy, das Auswärtige Amt. It's like called UK Diplo. I don't know, something. I'll link it below if you're interested. And you have to book an appointment. Again, fair enough. The waiting time is quite long. Like, you have to wait about 6 to 12 weeks to get an appointment to get your passport renewed. So if you are traveling and you need your passport, just make sure you really book that appointment in advance, just so your passport will be there on time. And then there's like a list of things you need to bring, which again seemed like simple enough. You need like biometric pictures, 2 of them. You need proof of addresses, it said 2. You need your certificate of deregistration, so just a piece of paper that you get when you deregister in Germany. You get a piece of paper that says blah blah no longer lives in Germany. You need that just to prove that you don't live in Germany anymore, because if you did, then you wouldn't have to go to the embassy, so you would go and get your passport renewed in Germany. Blah blah blah. It seemed fair enough. And then you need the money. It costs £64 to get your passport renewed, and if you want them to send it to you by post, that's like another £7 or £8 because it needs to be special delivery. Fancy blah, I don't know. So I was like, cool, that seems fair enough. So my appointment was like 6 weeks away, so I wasn't worried about it at all. I didn't really prepare anything for ages. Got my pictures taken and stuff, fine. And then I noticed that I didn't have my certificate of deregistration anymore. So naturally I kind of panicked. I was like, damn it, like I'm really like, but then I thought, it can't be that hard to get it again. Like, surely loads of people lose that all the time, because, you know, all it says is it's a printout of the Einwohnermeldeamt, the Department of Registration in Germany, just saying that I don't live there anymore. So I thought, fair enough, I'm just going to call them and ask them if they can, like, send it to me. Like, if I have to pay for it, that's fine. Like, charge me a tenner, I don't care. So I try to call them, no one replies. I thought, oh cool, try again later. Tried every day for like a week. No one picked up the phone. So then I thought maybe they're not picking up because I have a British number and they're thinking, oh, it's just spam. Really weird. So I looked up the email address online, I sent them an email. No reply for a week, 2 weeks. I was like, cool. So then I was like calling up my mum, who was in Germany, saying, could you call them just in case they pick up if you call, because you have a German number. So she called them and hallelujah, someone picked up. And apparently they were really, really unfriendly, just saying, well, we can't do anything. Yeah. That's basically it. They just said, we can't do anything. What do you mean you can't do anything? Like, I need a passport. So I went on the internet, looked this up, and as I thought, loads of people lose their certificate of deregistration all the time. And usually, the Einwohnermeldeamt in the city just emails it over for free. But my stupid Einwohnermeldeamt is just stupid because they refused to do that. They said if I want it, I have to personally go to Germany and go into the Einwohnermeldeamt and then ask them to print it out there and then take it home to England. Yeah, because I just have time and money to just fly over to go to the Einwohnermeldeamt for an hour and then come back to London. That is so dumb. So, you know, at this point I was like, really guys, really, are you going to be like, I thought maybe the British side of the bureaucracy is going to be a bit complicated getting a passport here, but no, it's flipping Germany, just being German. Why can't stuff just be easy? So at this point I'm just arguing with them over email, just being like, passive aggressive, like, guys, this is just not acceptable. Like, can't you just send it to me? Like, I'll pay you. Can you just print it out and then just email it to me? Like, I emailed them a passport copy of me, like an ID copy. Like, I was like, dude, I can Skype you. Like, why can't this just work? So in the end, what had to be done was the following. I had to send my mum a copy of my ID card and a handwritten letter of authorizing her to pick up this document in the Einwohnermeldeamt, mail that over to her, then she had to take those things, go into the Einwohnermeldeamt. Because she's my mum, she has the same name, so they thought that's okay. So then she requested for them to reprint my certificate of deregistration, and then she had to pay for that and then mail that all back to me. Mind blown, just mind blown. So once I finally had that, I then realised they completely spelled my address wrong. This isn't actually my address, but this is the first address in the UK I had. So this letter basically doesn't even say that I left Germany. It just says the last address this person was known at is this. So they completely spelled it wrong. And at this point, I don't even know if this matters. Like, I don't know if the embassy is going to be like, well, we can't accept that because, you know, that's not a real address. That's not a real London address, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm just completely like dumbfounded. I'm like, dude, all you had to do is write a paper saying I don't live in Germany. What do you give me? You give me a paper where my first address in London, is it not even spelled right? Like, what? So I called them up again. I was like, can you not just fix it and then email it to me? Like, we went through all of this, can't you just do that? And they're like, no. If you want it fixed, you have to do this whole thing again. Really? Again? So at this point, I'm like, guys, like, I don't really care. Like, you're so crap. Like, I'm just gonna take this to the embassy, and if they refuse it, they'll refuse it, and then they'll just refuse it. So I accepted that this whole thing wasn't going smoothly. I accepted that maybe I wasn't gonna get my passport. So, well, I wanted to get all my other documents ready. So when it came to the proof of address, that was the next problem I had. They wanted 2 proofs of address. A proof of address can't be older than 3 months. Because I'm like environmentally conscious, I have most of my bills as e-bills, which they don't accept it if you print it yourself. So I had to call up both my bank, Barclays, and I had to call up EDF Energy to be like, can you send me the next bill in a paper statement because I need it as a proof of address. They said, yeah, sure. Did I ever receive it? No. So that didn't work. And then my council tax bill was too old and they didn't send me a new one. That is another drama story that I might tell you about another time. And then in the end, I had a Thames water bill, and I managed to I called EDF again and said, can you really like send me a bill because I really need it. So the second time they sent it, I did receive it. And then my problem was both the addresses were different on each bill, because the flat that I used to live in until recently was so dodgy that it wasn't registered with Royal Mail. And when I moved in over a year ago, I had to call up Royal Mail. Like, they have like this thing called address investigation services. So you like, if your address is not in their registry, you can call them and they will add it to it, but it takes like up to a year to show up. So what happened is Thames Water entered my address a different way than EDF, because it wasn't showing up in EDF's address finder, and they can't enter addresses if they don't show up in the address finder. It's just completely complicated. So one of them said my house number and an A, and the other one said my house number and B. So one said, I'll just make it up, 100B, and the other one said 100A. But it's the same place, because the place officially is called 100A2B. So I was like, again, what if the embassy isn't gonna accept this because they're different? Because this happened to me before when I like registered at a doctor's practice. They were like, well, they don't match up, so we can't register you. So I was, at this point, I was just like, should I just cancel this appointment? Because there's like no point doing this. But it was like a few days before, so I was like, I already took a day out of work to do this. So I was like, I'm just gonna go there and see what happens. So on the day, I'm like kind of nervous. I got all my little documents in a folder and I'm off to the German embassy. Here's a picture of all of the embassies. It's quite funny because you walk up and there's literally Spanish, the Swedish, Belgian, there's all the embassies in a big old row. And I go to the embassy. It's like really not as fancy as I thought. I went to the American embassy in Berlin before, and it was like really like guarded by people with machine guns, and it was like already not that one. They didn't even have a detector. They just had a guy that literally just glanced into my bag, didn't even look, just glanced in, and it was like looking at me. It was like, yeah, you cool, just let me in. Really weird. And then you picked a number, had to wait for like an hour, even though I had an appointment, because the appointments mean nothing. They just give them out, but they don't actually mean you're gonna see anyone. And yeah, it was really hot in there, a lot of crying children, which is no one's fault, but it's just annoying. And yeah, just had to wait for ages. And then once my number gets called, I'm just like kind of shaking a bit, because I'm just like, please give me my passport. So in the end, everything was fine. They didn't care. They didn't even ask me for 2 proof of addresses. They asked me for 1. So I just gave them any of them. Doesn't matter, because they will never know that it doesn't match up. They only wanted 1 picture, not 2. And they didn't even look at my certificate of deregistration. So yeah, you can only pay cash, by the way, if you didn't know that. You should know that. And that was my experience. And now I have to wait 6 weeks to receive my new passport. All that drama for nothing. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't cancel my appointment in the end, because that would have been a nightmare trying to fix all that in the end, to know that I wouldn't have had to fix it. But I just wanted to tell the story because it was just really annoying at the time. So if you have to renew your passport in London, don't stress it too much. It's all I'm saying. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Goodbye.